I'm Van Stokes, here with Matt Larson, Director of the Army Combatives Program. Matt, you were ringside at the annual Army Combatives Championship in Fort Benning, Georgia. Tell us about the rules that are in effect for this competition.
Well, Van, there'll be 3 5-minute rounds. They'll be allowed to throw closed fist strikes to the head, knees to the body, but not to the head, but they can kick to the head. Very similar to mixed martial arts rules, but a little bit more protective. And a major difference you'll see is they'll be wearing their uniform bottoms. It's not very unusual that a soldier would get in a fight on the battlefield wearing shorts. So we have to be thinking about what the real goal here is, and that's preparation for the battlefield.
Matt, thanks for enlightening our viewers. Let's meet the fighters in the first middleweight match. Neil Magny and Travis Anderson competed for the bronze medal in this consolation fight. Here's what they had to say right before the match.
Well, I mean, there's no better preparation for combat than getting hit in the face. If you can hit in the face, you can pretty much do anything. So it's an awesome experience and it's a good skill.
Mine were pretty good. Yesterday I won all my fights either through submission or points. I basically controlled my battle boys or my opponent at the time, just controlled them the whole way. Just using techniques that I learned over the past few years and just felt pretty confident the whole time.
I do not know my opponent. I just know that he's a little bit taller than I am. So I'm going to go in, try to use my wrestling background, try to take him down, use my ground and pound skills, and win the fight from there.
I'm not here to hurt anybody. It's all about just getting combatives out there and showing everybody else that it's actually a good technique to use both on the battlefield and outside the battlefield. It's not just about going out there and hurting your opponent.
So Anderson feels he could get hit in the face, and Magny feels he could and perhaps should control this bout. Is that a good mindset, do you think, Matt?
It is. You know, Magny made a good point about these being his battle buddies as well as his opponents. You know, remember, they're both soldiers, and they might have to go to war together tomorrow.
And both of them are looking forward to it, as you could see in their faces.
It looks like it's going to be fun.
Well, let's get to the action in this middleweight bronze match. Neil Magny in the red belt representing the Illinois National Guard. Very quick with the striking as he gets distance, separates, and then comes back and attacks Travis Anderson again. Travis Anderson from the Maneuver Center of Excellence by way of West Point.
Well, Anderson looks like he really wants that takedown, but Magny seems to have good enough hips to hold him off so far.
Now, you have worked with Magny in the past. Talk about his strengths.
Well, Magny's from the Illinois National Guard, and that team is pretty solid. You know, a lot of these National Guard teams come in here, and they've got lots of skillful guys. It's a testament to the sort of people who are joining the Guard these days that they can come in and compete with the active duty soldiers.
Well, Magny right now using one of his strengths, and that's his ability to control matches, as you heard him talk about before this competition got underway. As now he's seeking to control the upper body, if you will, of Travis Anderson. They work their way into the neutral corner, and Magny ready to deliver some striking blows to the head.
And Magny's doing a good job of controlling that far side arm so that Anderson is unable to escape from that position. He really needs to get his right arm back behind Magny, start to work his way to the back.
Now, we have talked in the past about combatants coming out of places like Fort Hood and Fort Bragg and Fort Campbell, where you have to be the best in your installation. There is a good throwdown by Magny, and he has got Travis Anderson in a tough spot right now. But my question to you is plain and simple. How does someone like Magny become so good and so strong when they don't come from a big installation like Fort Bragg or Fort Hood?
Well, a lot of these guys in their National Guard units, they key off of, it looks like he's working for that bent arm lock there. A lot of these guys from the National Guard units, they key off the civilian martial arts culture in their areas. And you can see a lot of the coaches coming from these teams are local, you know, mixed martial arts coaches. And that's one of the things we've done in the Army is tap into the expertise that's in America. There's lots of people around who understand a lot about fighting. We just have to put it in perspective of the battlefield. He's looking like he's in a bad way here.
Oh, he is. Magny has got him where he wants him. Repeated blows to the head, striking blows. Anderson moves over to the edge of the mat. And Magny relentless on those blows to the head. Blocking slightly by the hand is Travis Anderson. But is he blocking enough? We'll have to see. Those are aggregate number of blows. How damaging are they, Matt?
I'll tell you what, it seems like he's really doing some damage. That position is very bad. I don't know how Anderson's going to get out of it. And now Magny's working on an arm triangle.
Dominating performance right now by Neil Magny. And that's what the judges are looking for. 3 judges. Oh, he's in a tough position now. Repeated blows by both hands.
We have a very good referee there, Brandon Sales. He's a 3-time Army champion. He's been in that ring a lot and knows just what to do. So I think we'll probably see him go to the center before too long.
And I see it. It looks like perhaps an open cut on the top of the head of Travis Anderson as he continues to get pounded on in the corner.
So far this round, Magny is really having his way. He's landing a lot of punches, dominating positionally.
The name is domination. It's not just control. He has dominated his opponent, and that's what the judges are looking for when they score this on a 10-point must system.
Exactly right. Now, when it goes to the judges, you never can tell what's going to happen. We tell the fighters, look, if you don't knock the guy out, oh, and it's reversed now.
Wow.
We say if you don't knock the guy out or submit him, then you left it to somebody's opinion who won. You don't want to do that.
And at that point, it becomes a little bit subjective. But they are objectively looking for dominating type blows.
One advantage we have in the Army system is that, you know, the judges are products of our education system. So we teach them how to fight, teach them how to coach, and then teach them how to judge, referee. All those things are part of the combatives program.
So Anderson rebounds under 20 seconds remaining in the first round of this 3-round bronze medal match in the middleweight division. And now he's neutralized Magny. There's the pounding of the mat. Less than 10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Magny doing a good job with those legs, holding Anderson off.
And they both know where they are in the ring and on the clock. So the first period comes to an end. Credit Travis Anderson. He took a big pounding, but towards the latter part, he managed to get away, escape, if you will, from Neil Magny.
Yeah, I don't think Anderson did enough to take the round. He did come out on top there at the very end, but Magny did a lot of damage when he had his arms pinned and was raining those blows on his face. Good submission attempts.
There you get a good look at Neil Magny. He gets a little bit of liquid replenishment.
A lot of those soldiers from the Illinois National Guard, their actual job is to be drill instructors. So on their summer rotations, they come out to the main posts like Fort Jackson and Fort Benning and then teach these skills to our young soldiers.
Now you saw the mouthpiece going back into the mouth of Neil Magny. That's a safety device, form-fitted mouthpiece. The gloves that they use, Matt, 4-ounce gloves?
They're 6-ounce gloves, and those gloves are actually there mostly to keep them from hurting their hand. That's the one thing people don't sometimes understand is what the protective equipment is for. For example, in boxing, you see some people wearing headgear. Well, the headgear only protects against cuts and broken noses. It doesn't protect at all against brain trauma.
Travis Anderson, a little bit of fakery up top as he looked like he was going to land a blow. Got Magny to flinch, and he goes in for the tie-up, tries to get the full body takedown, but he couldn't get that to happen. So both combatants into the ropes now.
Magny did a good job of turning that around, so now he's on the outside, trying to get those knees into the quad.
If you were coaching Travis Anderson right now, what would your coaching advice be?
Well, what I would say is drive towards your underhook. You can see with his left arm there, he keeps getting into the underhook underneath Magny's arm. He really needed to push that. Looks like that takedown attempt from Magny didn't work out for him.
No, it didn't. In fact, Anderson countered it nicely.
You can see from this angle, Magny needs to scoot his hips out this direction. If he can scoot his hips, he'll be working towards Anderson's back.
And there you see him moving slightly.
If he can pull his head out from that headlock, he'll be behind Anderson in a very advantageous position.
But if Anderson's smart, he's not going to allow him to pull that head out right now. But can't hold on to it that long. He comes out. Call it a reversal if you want. But he comes back to an advantageous position. Now that plain and simply is experience, Magny knowing where he was and what he needed to do to escape.
That's right, and a lot of the experience, you see that Anderson had quite a bit of wrestling background. A lot of the experience from other ways of learning to fight are good for you, but they also give you some bad habits. You know, you could see there that headlock technique is very common in wrestling. Maybe not the best thing to do in a real fight.
Well, Magny talked before the bout about his ability to get his opponent to submit, and he likes to strike. I mean, throughout the first
knees
period,
hurt.
he strikes with the knee, strikes with the hand. He'll deliver blows to the body with the knee or the hand to the head.
He's been dominating this fight mostly positionally throughout, with a little bit of exception there whenever he got mounted a second ago, or almost mounted a second ago. But even that was on his initiative. You can see he does a real good job of keeping that wrist control, making sure he's the one throwing the punches.
Well, they're on their feet and they get tangled up in the ropes. So they come back to the center of the ring in the standing position. They set up as boxers, but you get the feel that you're going to see a takedown perhaps. Although Magny likes to deliver the blows, presses Anderson over against the ropes and then comes back to the center of the ring. So let's see if the boxing skills will come into play here. Oh, little kickboxing.
Yeah, well, Magny knows that Anderson's wanting that takedown, and also knowing how to keep him at bay.
Magny showing a lot of skills as a stand-up fighter as well as on the mat in a grappling format. Now he's pressed over against the ropes.
And they both have very good takedown skills here and ability to defend. So you're seeing a fairly technical fight at all the ranges.
A lot of tie-ups. And Magny says, you know, I'd rather get some distance here and come back to the center and strike him if I can. And Travis Anderson says, I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to the leg.
Yeah, Magny's got solid hips. He can keep him out. He's been keeping him out pretty handily.
But Magny, as we just said, I think, Matt, is just as adept on the mat as he is on his feet. Displays good skills.
You can see he's tying that arm up again like he did in the first round.
Neil Magny of the Illinois National Guard, competing for the bronze medal middleweight division. We move down to the 30-second mark remaining in this, the second round.
He's doing a very good job of using his hips to take those arms out of the fight. Very good technique.
Magny, he is relentless though in delivering those blows.
Back on their feet, Anderson in an advantageous position.
Less than 10 seconds remaining. They hear that pounding of the mat, and they just basically are content to tie up and nurse out those final seconds of the round. So round number 2 comes to a close. How do you see it thus far?
Well, I would say that Magny has won both of the previous rounds, and I don't think there's any doubt on that. Anderson has continued to be aggressive, trying to do it, but let's see what his coach has to say.
Yeah, let's see if you can listen to his coach.
I think he's just bucking him up to be more aggressive in there, keep in the fight.
And he knows right now that he's probably on the backside of each of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
He probably wants to say, Travis, you're going to have to put him away. But that might be a tall challenge.
Well, Anderson's smiling in the corner there. Looks like he's still in the fight. No, you know, it's been a long 3 days, and here he is with 1 round to go. And he's ready.
Reminds me of that tough opponent. I want to say that Bantam Rooster that just basically comes out and stands up straight. He's ready to go. Moving quickly now is Travis Anderson.
And like we were talking about earlier, you know, it's a testament to these guys' tenacity. You know, the real fight on the battlefield doesn't happen after you come out of the locker room and you're like, oh, put me in, coach. It really happens after you just walk 25 miles and you've been out there with little food and you're tired and you fight your way to the objective, and then you have the hand-to-hand fight. So,
well, let's talk about the flip side of that if we can, Matt. what about the one that's on the receiving end? You've got to learn to take a pounding. You've got to learn to handle the pressure, and then you have to learn to keep going, such as Travis Anderson right now gets that reversal.
Yeah, it was nice, and now he's on top. We'll see if he can do some damage from there.
I mean, some days you're going to be able to hand it out, and other days you're going to have to be able to take it. But regardless, on day number 3, you've got to keep going because that's what happens in battle.
You know, they say that the one quality that really matters in life is perseverance, and you can see that right there. Anderson on top after all this time. Now's his chance.
So they're going to bring him back to the center of the mat. Now, that's not to say that you don't have to have talent, but talent with perseverance ultimately will be the mark of a champion.
Yeah, I know it's been said it's not the will to win that counts, because once you get in the arena, everybody wants to win. It's the will to prepare to win, because the preparation is what takes you through 3 days of fighting and gets you into the 3rd round in this fight.
Without the will to prepare, that battlefield can be a tough place. So training, under the guise of which this competition is being conducted, is of paramount importance. Travis Anderson
and
trying to make good, but that's a nice roll through by Neil Magny. As they come to the standing position and then find their way into the ropes. Now he's got that front headlock right now on Magny. And Magny can't do much from there.
Well, I think actually Anderson's making a mistake holding on to that head. He probably should bring that left arm out. Now you see him down. The choke is nothing whenever you don't have position. And Magny is in the dominant position.
And Magny knew probably against the ropes he could not do much, so he kind of needed to bring Anderson back to the center, which he just did, and threw him to the mat.
Anderson, powerful hips, able to roll back over.
And he's using those hips and that power to his advantage. In other words, Magny's having a difficult time putting away Anderson.
And he's got one arm in and one arm out, which is a bad position. You can see Magny working towards that triangle choke, trying to pull his left leg up around there and get control of the neck. And it's sinking deeper and deeper.
Explain that triangle choke.
Oh, and that's it.
Oh, that's it. That is it. He sunk it. He sunk it, and Anderson basically couldn't withstand beyond that point. So Neil Magny gets the submission on that.
Yeah, that triangle is a dangerous choke when somebody's...
The winner by tap out to the triangle, wearing the red belt, representing Illinois Army National Guard, Neil Magny.
Very good performance from Magny. He dominated pretty much the whole fight.
So Neil Magny wins the bronze medal in the middleweight division as a result of that triangle, which caused Travis Anderson to essentially tap out. Talk about that triangle. I mean, how tough is it to get it, to lock it in, and then what happens?
Well, it's a technique that guys with long legs like to use against stubby guys, so it's sneaky, and they get it in there real quick. And really what you have to do is pull the guy up onto your lap and change your posture. If you're all bent over like he was, it's very hard to resist.
So the opponent almost becomes defenseless in that triangle if it's sunk properly.
And if he's not necessarily doing the right thing, you have to be upright to be able to defend it.
Well, okay, upright was Neil Magny as he wins the bronze medal. Now, let's hear from our winner.
Good match. Can you tell me how you got the submission at the end there?
I just went ahead, threw my legs over for the triangle. I worked his hell of it, so he quit thinking about the choke. Each time we sticked it in, inch by inch, I finally was able to pull it off.
All right, do you have any shout-outs for anybody out there?
No, I just want to thank the Ghost Horse for helping me get ready. I want to thank my Illinois, I guess right now it's rough fight, but it's the same my command for supporting this program. I can go back to my unit and show my lower list that this technique actually works.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's hear it once again for third place in the middleweight division from Illinois Army National Guard, Neil Magny.
So Magny can go back to his unit, show the technique properly worked, becomes a bit of a mentor when he returns back to his unit.
And that's what this tournament's all about. These soldiers get to go back and take the skills and experience they learned here and and improve the rest of the soldiers in their unit's ability as well.
Well, they parlay it and help build the strengths and skills of other soldiers. Coming up later in the show, we'll be back with all the action from the gold medal fight in the middleweight division. Stick around for more Close Combat.